The thief unzipped his pants and pressed himself onto my wife, committing the crime right in front of me. At that moment, my 5-year-old daughter was standing at the door, witnessing the entire ordeal. The criminal turned his head as if igniting a new desire. He grabbed my daughter and quickly walked into bed. Tried to stop him desperately, but tragedy still struck. Just like that, one thief made me lose both my wife and daughter. I hated that thief with all my heart and immediately contacted a lawyer, hoping to take revenge through the law. Soon, the criminal was captured. However, during the trial, the criminal bribed the judge, changing the charge of murder to manslaughter, and he was sentenced to only 3 years. I couldn't accept this outcome. But what shocked me even more was that I saw my lawyer shaking hands with the criminal. It turned out that this so-called righteous lawyer was actually a coward, afraid of losing the case, and had made a deal with the criminal. I fell into complete despair, and the rage inside me almost broke. After serving his 3-year sentence, the criminal received a phone call. A mysterious voice warned that the police were about to arrive. The criminal quickly glanced out the window, and sure enough, several police cars were parked downstairs. Following the mysterious person's instructions, he hurriedly fled, crossing the snow and found a sleeping police car. He snatched the gun from the officer, threatening him to drive. Not long after, the car stopped in a desolate suburb. The criminal forced a police officer out of the car, planning to kill him to silence him. At that moment, the phone rang. It was the mysterious person again. The criminal answered, smiling as he thanked them, but the next second froze.
You know why I'll never see my wife, the little girl, again?
I removed my wig and slowly turned around. He suddenly remembered who I was and without hesitation fired. But the bullet didn't fire, and instead he felt a sharp pain in his palm. It turned out I had already modified the gun, so when the trigger was pulled, the switch would activate. I carefully examined him, confirming that the criminal was poisoned, his body paralyzed, but his mind fully conscious. I dragged him to the basement, tied him tightly to an iron bed, and made him feel the pain I've suffered over the years, losing my wife and child. Meanwhile, the police couldn't find the criminal, so they immediately launched a search. 2 days later, they finally discovered the basement. The scene was horrifying. The stench of decay filled the air, and the criminal had died a gruesome death. The lawyer thought of me, and he was even certain that I was involved in his case. Police immediately took action, vowing to capture this murderer, and I had already started the next step of my revenge. I stood naked, calmly awaiting the police's arrival. The SWAT team broke through the door, and I raised my hands. This was the first step of my revenge. In the interrogation room, I boldly admitted to all the crimes, but each statement was legally insufficient to convict. My lawyer was nearly driven insane. Over these 3 years, I had made thorough preparations, even memorizing all the laws. The lawyer had no choice but to ask me what I actually wanted. I smiled and replied, "A bed."